Right now, we see that we've been able to log in into our email, which is pretty okay. So the next thing is we need to actually send the email. I'm just going to delete this. Okay, so we want to send an email to each of the members. So remember, we have grabbed the list of all the unpaid in this dictionary. So we have the list of all of them. So we need to actually run a loop on each of the member so that we can send an email to them. Okay, so what we need to do right now is to say we want to get the name and email of each member in the dictionary. So we can just say for name and email in unpaid member, then dot item. So we are grabbing the name, email of the unpaid members. Then we want to actually declare the body of our email. So the body is going to be, we are going to be using the F string. F string allows us to combine both expressions and string. Okay, so when you're sending email, the first thing that should come is make sure you have your subject, then you have your column, so you can have the whatever title you want to give to your subject. So this time around, remember that we declared a variable that takes in the last month, okay, takes in the last month. So actually what this is doing is taking these dates, okay, it's taking these dates, right? That is why we have it as 1. It's taking these very dates. So the time for us to use the last month is in our subject. So we are just going to say that our variable, which is going to be last month, okay, then we just have dues unpaid, okay. So the next thing we want to do is to actually declare the body of our message. So to do that, we need a new line, okay. So we can just say dear, then we need the name of the member. So we need to just bring in the name, which we are getting from this variable, right? So we can have comma, so we can actually have a new line again, then we can say record shows that you have not paid dues for last month, which is we still need to reference the last month in our variable. We have the last month. Then we can then have a full stop. So I just want to wrap my test so that it's easy to see. Okay. All right. So we just want to say, beg them to actually make payment. So we just want to say, we can still do a new line. Then beg, please make payment as soon as possible. We can still do a new line as well. In fact, a new line again. Then say thank you. Let's just quickly send our email. So we're just going to say, declare our send email variable. Then we are just going to declare server send email. This is what we want. Then we can just, so we are sending from, this takes 3 variables where you're sending from. We're sending from skills at instincthub.com. The second variable is the email we are sending to. So we are sending to all the email of our members. So we just reference the variable email of our members. Then the next is the message we want to send. So which is this body. Okay, so right now we are sending from Instinct Hub, skills at instincthub.com. Then we have emails of all our members. Then we have the body, which is the body of the message that we declared. So let's try to send. We need to put the password. Okay, so it's giving us name not defined. Let's check where that error is coming from. Okay, it should be E. Okay, so let's do that again. So at this point, our email is actually going, and I am getting the notification already. Okay, so we want to actually know how our messages are going out. So for us to really do that, we can just say that while the message is going out, we want to print the message. Just add the print function. Let me give a space. Say print. Then we are just going to say that we are sending email. We're sending email to, I think we should use the F string so that we can actually put in a variable. Then we need the name. Then we can just add the 3 period just to show that something is happening. So each time I send this, I will always see who the current user that our email is sending to at the particular time. So instead of just waiting and not seeing what's going on, I will see that in action in a bit. So in the event where our email is not going through, we want to be able to capture the emails that didn't go through. So for us to capture the email that didn't go through, we can say if sendMail, which is this very sendMail, if sendMail is not equals to success, so an empty dictionary indicates that all the emails are gone. So if it's not empty, we want to actually print out the email with the issue. So we still need to use the print function. So let's use the F string. Let's use the F string. Then we can say there is a problem sending email to, we can reference the email of the user, then print out the actual error message. So we can just actually print this, whatever error message is coming from, whatever the issue coming from here, just print it. So let me just widen this a bit. So if you look at what we're doing, we're just saying that whenever any message is not sent, let us know whose user didn't go through, then so that we'll know what to do to the data. All right, so finally, after we've done all of these things, the last thing we want to do really is to quit the program. We want to quit the server, because you can't leave your email login forever. And even if you don't close it, the system is actually going to time out by itself. But it is ideal that we actually put an end to it by ourselves. So to do that, we can just say finally put an end to our mail server. So we can just reference server. and just reference the quit, and that actually ends our program. Okay, so if you look at what we've done so far, we looked through our Excel spreadsheet, we selected all the unpaid members. Even if you want to send to the paid members, what you just need to do is to tweak your if statement here. So instead of paid member, you can just say, instead of unpaid, instead of not paid, you can just make it change into like paid, and every member who has paid will get that customized message. And that's the unique thing with this. So let's change back to not paid. Okay, now let's look at what we did. So what we just basically try to do here is to do normal login into our email. Okay, so we declare our ports and domain, which are these two variables, and we actually log in using our password, but in this case we use an input so that whenever there's need, we can actually use our password to input so that our password is not open to the public. What we need to do right now is just make sure that everything works fine. Okay, so we checked and make sure that we want to be printing the user each time the email is going out so that we know which user is receiving an email at the particular moment. Then if there's any issue at all, we want to say the email in case there are some emails that we bounce in terms of wrong emails or emails that are not well structured or things that are not email at all. Whatever the issues, Python is just going to let us know. Then if we are unable to log in at all, right, if we try to log in and it doesn't work, we are just going to print out the error message. Why is it not possible to log in? Then finally, we just exit our program. So let's just copy this to do up to this point. So this is where we try to log in. So we log in our email here, and here we actually send out the reminder. So let's just give it a try and run our program to see what happens. So if I try to run it, it's asking for password. I'm just going to insert a password. You can see that we are sending to Matthew, we're sending to Mustafa, we're sending to Uche, we're sending to Noah, and all of the emails just went out. So let's just quickly check what is going on with our emails. So you can see this is my email, and if I check, you can see that we have March 2020 unpaid, dues unpaid. Then we have Dear Noah, record shows that you have not paid dues for. Okay, so this is not supposed to be last call. You can see that in the email we have last call, so we reference last call instead of last month, instead of the last month. So let's just remove this and just say last month. Is that what we title our variable as? Or latest month. Okay, I see where the issue is. It's called the latest month. Okay, so if we run this again, instead of us saying the last column, which is column 8, if we count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Instead of saying the last call, we'll actually say the value at the top here, which is March 21. So if we run it again, let's just run it again and see. You can just see sending to Matthew, sending to Mustafa, sending to Noah, and we have it. So let's check our email again. We should be able to see an email from Python once more. All right, here it comes. Okay, and if we look at it, instead of the 8, now we have due for March. Please make payment as soon as possible. Then we have thank you. And basically, that's how cool it is. So within few minutes, we are able to just write this program that is able to help us send email. And the unique thing about this really is that by doing this, we don't need to write this again and again. So we can always come back to just change our spreadsheet. We can actually come to this point. We can actually come to this point and change the spreadsheet, update the spreadsheet to whatever member, however dynamic. You might have something more than this, okay? And maybe just make sure you are referencing the appropriate column. You can start counting the column from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to target the exact column. You can actually, there are some Excel spreadsheet that comes with coloring. You can target colors, not just written words alone. And that will be all for our lessons for today. So you can get this source code in our GitHub repository. So you can actually use that, and if you have any question, just leave a comment. You can hook us up at instincthub.com or any of our social media, which is at instincthub. Ask us any question regarding this lesson, or leave a comment in the section of this course, and we will see you and actually give you some answers. Happy coding!